All right, so I've made well over 100 grand within the whole online business realm, okay? And believe me, I've tried every single model under the sun. All of the models that you're thinking of, like drop shipping, Amazon FBA, day trading, etc. You get the point. I've tried it all, okay? I've bought all the gurus courses, I've watched all the videos, I've tried every single model, and I finally found one that stuck, okay? And from my personal experience, I'm going to run you through in this video what I'd recommend you to do as a complete beginner. And I'll run you through the business models you should avoid like the plague and the ones you should actually pursue, okay? And again, this is coming from someone that's tried them all myself. This video that I'm about to make you, right, is what I wish somebody had broke down for me when I first started. I would have saved so much more time, energy, and money, okay? So watch this video through in full and do exactly as I say, and you can live this life too. And again, this is the path to actually doing it right the first time, because there's so many models here that will just end up like making you want to go back to your 9 to 5, and that's not what we want, okay? So watch this video through in full and I'll show you how to actually do it properly. Okay, hello guys. So I'm gonna run you through just a tier list of the best and the worst models to get into for a complete beginner in the online realm. So if you're watching my channel, I can assume like you're working a 9 to 5 or a job you hate and you're looking to make money online, okay? And I can almost guarantee you probably tried these as well, okay? Just like I have. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run you through my own personal experience, the best and the worst models to get into for complete beginners, okay? And that is the whole goal here, is to help you find the best models to get into as a complete beginner, because again, I know a lot of you guys watching this content are beginners. So I'm gonna save you a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of money as well, because some of these will waste your money, right? So without further ado, let's get into it. So of course, you guys have seen these tier list videos before. S tier is the best, D tier is terrible. So S tier is like, wow, amazing, get into it right now. D tier is, wow, like honestly, avoid it like the plague. This is terrible. You're gonna waste loads of money and time and energy, right? So let's get into it. That's the first one we're gonna do. Let's do, for example, let's say drop shipping, okay? So I know a lot of you guys are familiar with drop shipping. Drop shipping is so well known that I reckon even my mum knows what it is. It's that well known and that saturated that I honestly reckon my mum knows what dropshipping is, and she's not in the online space at all. I reckon even my mum knows what dropshipping is, right? So essentially this is where, for example, you have your own store where you sell products, right? Let's say, I'm trying to think of something on my desk. Let's say like a pen, right? Just for the sake of the example, we've got pen. Let's say, for example, we found this pen on AliExpress or a really cheap website for 20p, right? But what we're going to do is create our own store, our own online store, where we sell this pen for £20. Now, the way we're going to do that, right, is to create that store, and then we're going to have to run ads to that store, and obviously have to have like a USP for the pen, like, oh, this pen does this, this, and this, to obviously have the selling point to justify the price. But then, like, we're actually going to go and buy it for 20p whenever someone buys the pen, right? So when someone buys the pen, you've done your marketing, you've got customers coming to your product, right? They buy the pen for £20. Every single person that buys the pen for £20, you're then going to individually buy each pen for 20p from like AliExpress or Alibaba, right? So you're just basically getting a really cheap product from like some Chinese website, right? And selling it for a massive markup and keeping the profit, right? But the way to do that, like I said briefly, you have to like run ads or like have like organic content to bring customers to your page, because nobody's just going to find your page by accident, right? Nobody's just going to stumble across your page and go, oh, this pen for £20, yeah, let's buy it, you know? So you have to get traffic to your product, right? And the way to do that is to, number one, run ads, which costs a lot of money. Again, as a complete beginner, you're going to have finances to start with, or to build like not a personal brand, you know, build like a brand around it, like organic content to drive traffic in. And then obviously you have to learn how to do that. Like that's a whole skill within itself. And then when you buy for example, when you sell the pen for like 20p and you've made the profit, you then go and buy it from that Chinese website and have to deal with the delivery time. So people that buy your products are expecting to have the pen within a couple of days. There's going to be a massive delay because you're buying it from a Chinese website, and there's like massive shipping delays because it's in such a different part of the world. So, you know, there's so many moving parts to it, right? There's so much stresses. I've tried this on myself. It costs money. You're going to have to deal with like angry customers because they're getting this pen. And as soon as they open it, which by the way, they've waited 3 weeks for it to come, right? They've waited 3 weeks for the pen to come. As soon as I open it, because it's so cheap, it breaks when they open it, and they've paid £20 for it. You have to deal with like chargebacks and people wanting refunds and bad reviews, and yeah. So, and also the profit margins aren't as good as you think here either. Okay, everyone that makes like money with dropshipping, the profit margins aren't as great as the people say they are, right? So the people that are making like 100 grand a month, they're telling you make 100 grand a month. they're not making that much. Okay, the profit margins with dropshipping are terrible as well. Okay, and you have to have money to invest to start with, and obviously that comes at a risk because you don't know if you're going to make that money back. So dropshipping, for that reason, I'm going to put into detail. For a complete beginner, I'd avoid it like the plague. Now you can make it work, but it's a bit more of an advanced model. When you have money to burn, you're happy with burning the money, right? And you've kind of like gained skills with other online businesses or online realms, right? Then you can get into dropshipping. It does absolutely work, but for beginners, no, don't get into it. Avoid it like the plague. Okay, so yeah, that's dropshipping. Now, number 2, let's do day trading. Now, day trading is, for example, when you buy like stocks or crypto coins, right? And essentially you buy it at like a low price and you sell it for a really high price, right? And that sounds great and sounds really easy, and you can do that. Like, you can make a lot of money doing that. I know people that make 6 figures a year, 6 figures a month even with day trading. But to do that, you have to know what you're doing, right? You really do have to know what you're doing here. It really is an art, day trading. Like, it's not like, oh, just buy buy low, sell high. Yeah, that's like, in simple terms, that's how it works. But you need to know how to do that, right? And to do that, obviously, you have to, for example, if you want to make a lot of money, you have to put a lot of money in. That's the same with dropshipping, right? So if you don't have money as a complete beginner, if you only got like a couple of £1,000 to spare, right? And that's like money that you're depending on, don't go into day trading, because you'll need to spend that to make something worthwhile, okay? And with day trading as well, people make you like think that you're going to make so much money and it's like this really profitable model. It only is if you like, if you have a lot of money to start with, and also, like I said, you know what you're doing, right? So you need to be willing to, for example, when you're just starting out with day trading, you need to be willing to lose money. So you need to have like 10 or 20K to invest and be like, yeah, I don't care if I lose this. Day trading is that kind of game where you're like, look, I'm fully willing to invest this money, and if I lose it, it's gone, it's fine, right? So you need to have money to start with. And for that reason, as a complete beginner, I can imagine you don't really have money to start with and you don't really have the skills, okay? So for that reason, I'm going to put that into D tier as well. Day trading and dropshipping, they are not beginner friendly at all. Avoid them both like the plague. Ignore everything here online. Believe me, I've bought these courses, I've tried them. For beginners, they're terrible. They can work, I'm not saying they don't work, but for beginners, they're terrible, okay? Right, so next one. Let's get into, let's pick another one, Amazon FBA, okay? So Amazon FBA is great, and I actually do know quite a few people doing it. This is basically where you find and source products to sell on Amazon, right? And basically Amazon just handle all the fulfillment for you, right? So they'll pack and ship your product to the customer, right? They'll deal with all of the customer service complaints and stuff like that. And essentially, like, they'll collect the full payment and then pay you the profits, right? Now that sounds great, and I know a lot of people doing a lot of money with this, but to start with, to get the products and for inventory, for example, right, you need to have a lot of money to start with. I think you need like at least $5,000 to start with, and then even then you have no guarantee it's going to work. And also, I've heard the fees with Amazon FBA, right? The fees from Amazon are terrible. Okay, they just completely like drain your bank account with fees, and it really isn't as profitable as you think it is. But for like the main reason why I'd say it's not really beginner friendly is, again, just because you need money to start with. You know, a lot of these models that you're trying to think of starting, for a complete beginner, I'd recommend to get into models where it doesn't require much upfront risk or capital at all. Now, Amazon FBA is a lot of work, right? And also is a lot of money. So what I'm going to say is seat it, okay? It does work, and I think like long term, if you've got the finances to invest and you've got the bandwidth, I'd say you can entertain Amazon FBA, but only if you have money to invest, right? And like you've got the bandwidth to do it as well, okay? So Amazon FBA as a complete beginner, I can imagine a lot of you guys don't really have $5,000 to just burn. You know, for example, you need to, with these models, right, you need to enter with the mindset of, okay, I'm going to invest this money. I don't care if I lose it. So do a lot of you guys have $5,000 to spend and be like, yeah, cool, I don't mind if it goes? Because not being funny, if you did, you probably wouldn't be watching my videos, right? You'd probably be chilling doing something else, or you found something else that works. So a lot of you guys, I can imagine, don't have $5,000 to just burn and be like, yeah, don't care, it doesn't matter, you know, it's fine, what it is. So for that reason, Amazon FBA is going to be C tier, not D tier, because like it is very profitable and it does really work. And honestly, I do have friends that are really successful with it. But again, like, I think it's better than these two because they're not as hard. It's not as difficult, but it does require a lot of upfront fees to start with, and that's not really beginner friendly. Okay, so for that reason, I'll put it to C tier. Okay, next one. Let's do agency. Okay, so agency is like a marketing agency, short form content agency, like some kind of agency where you provide like a service online, like to, for example, like brick and mortar businesses. In this example, I'm going to say marketing agency because that's kind of what all these gurus are trying to sell you on, you know, starting a marketing agency. This one, honestly, don't do it. Don't do it at all. Like as a complete beginner, it's really not a good idea. because as an agency, you're selling a service, okay? And an agency is basically like, I'm trying to think of what it's like. I'm trying to think of what it's like. Starting a marketing agency when you don't know how to do marketing, right? So an agency is like a bigger business of the service that you're selling, right? How can you start a massive company doing a certain service when you don't know how to do the service? Now, a lot of these guys will say start an agency, sign clients, and then outsource the work. Honestly, it's very get rich quick schemey, right? I mean, it works, but long term, like, you haven't gained the skills of knowing actually learning the service you're providing. You haven't really learned how to run a business. And an agency is running a business, right? It's running a marketing company when you don't know how to do marketing. That's like me saying, right, let me go and start a plumbing company when I don't know how to change a tap. I've never done plumbing in my life. Let me go and start a plumbing company with a team and loads of clients and customers. No. This works, but only if you have like base level skill and knowledge and experience in a certain realm like marketing beforehand, right? So they say start a marketing agency and outsource the work. Why do you need to outsource the work? Oh, because you don't know how to do it yourself. So you're putting the entire fulfillment for your clients in another person that already knows more than you. So they have more leverage over you and your entire business because they know how to do your service, right? Don't start an agency, please don't. All right, it's honestly, like, I've tried this before. It's not beginner friendly at all. Not beginner friendly at all. You have to learn how to do marketing, you have to learn how to do sales calls, you have to learn how to run a business, like all the intricacies of running a business, as well as trying to learn the actual service you're providing and trying to get clients, right? For a brand new company, for a service that you don't know how to provide, is really hard and will cost money as well, okay? So agency, I'm debating between C and D tier. I think C tier, if you have like base level experience in marketing or any kind of service beforehand, right, for C tier. But for D tier, if you have like no leverage, no experience, no nothing, don't start an agency either, okay? So for that sake of the example, I'm gonna put it into C tier here, okay? I've tried this myself. It's hard as a beginner, really, really hard. It does work, you can do it, but I'd say do that once you actually learn a certain skill. Like, I don't know, for example, if you want to do a marketing agency, learn how to build funnels and actually run ads, for example, like learn that first and then start an agency. Don't start an agency and then learn the service. Like, it doesn't work. I've tried it all before, okay? Okay, so that's C tier and D tier. Let me think of another one to do. Let's do affiliate marketing, okay? So this one is great and you can make a lot of money, but it's dependent on traffic, okay? And again, as we discussed with dropshipping, to get traffic, a lot of the time you need to buy it or you need to spend time or money in some form anyway, okay? So if you're doing it for free, you're doing it organic, you need to learn the skill of like building an audience like with organic content. That's a skill in itself. That's really hard to learn, right? And it's not beginner friendly. And it is beginner friendly, but like if you want to start making like money quickly, you want to get results quickly, it's like you're gonna be waiting months, okay? So the way to get traffic again is to like, you need to have an audience, right? And to get an audience, you're gonna have to again like have a brand where you're gonna be making organic content or even paying for ads, okay? And the profit margins a lot of the time for affiliate marketing isn't really that great, and it is totally reliant on traffic. So a lot of your all of your day to day is going to be down to finding traffic, and finding traffic isn't as easy as you think it is, okay? And the profit margins for this as well, they aren't that amazing unless you've got massive traffic coming through. And again, to get massive traffic coming through is hard, okay? So for affiliate marketing, I'd honestly put that in C or B. I'm trying to think of where I put this. I think I'll put affiliate marketing in here because it's not actually that complex. Like, you do need to learn how to like build like traffic sources, but once you've done that, it's not really that difficult, okay? But yeah, I'd say C or B, okay? I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but it's not the worst one in the world, okay? Next one, let's do copywriting, okay? Now copywriting, actually, do you know what? I'm gonna put that in A tier, right? Copywriting is a good skill to, well, I think a lot of us can build this skill really quickly. If you did quite well in school, for example, in like your English exams, I think you do quite well in copywriting, right? It's just writing words and like engaging people through words, okay? So a lot of us guys can do that. That is very beginner friendly. If you did well in school in your English exams, for example, I reckon you'd be quite good at this. And this is actually needed for most like online people, like most online businesses that you'd be doing this for, they need copywriting. They need a good copywriter to sell their product, okay? The only thing I would say here with copywriting is I think AI will take it out in the next couple of years. So I don't think there's a massive need for them like in the future. Unless you're like an elite copywriter, I think the elite copywriters will be fine, but AI, I think, will take those guys out that are just starting. So the barrier to entry will get harder and harder. But for now, I think, copywriting is good to start. Okay, you can start. It's not that hard to think of like an engaging way to like make people buy something. It's honestly, it is just words on like a landing page to convince people to like watch a video or buy a product. A lot of you can learn that quite quickly, and that is actually quite good. Okay, for beginners to start. Okay, it doesn't really require any money up front either. Okay, because again, it's just learning how to say words in a certain way that entices people to buying a certain product. Okay, so it doesn't really require any upfront capital. Okay, compared to these other ones, right? Next one, let's do sales rep. So a sales rep or a closer is somebody that takes sales calls, right, for a product that they're selling for like a high ticket price. For example, like 10 grand. Okay, I've got friends that do this, where you hop on a Zoom call, where basically these online coaching companies or online businesses that provide a service for a high ticket price, they can't just sell that service without speaking to the person first to see if they'd be a good fit. And also, nobody's going to buy something for 10 grand just for a website. Well, a lot of the time they won't. Okay, so they will need to hop on a call. So the person that's going to be hopping on the call with them is going to be the closer or the sales rep. Okay, and that person's their whole job is going to be trying to get that person who's interested in book the call to buy the program or buy the product, for example, at 10 grand. Now, you're going to be collecting the money for the company as a sales rep. You're going to be getting like 10 to 12% commission, maybe even more commission, depending on the offer you run, right? And you can honestly make 5 figures a month with this, right? I've actually got a lot of friends as well that do this, and they're very, very successful. I know a couple of people doing like 20, 30, 40K a month being a sales rep. Like, this is a really good way to make like multiple 6 figures a year, and also it's AI proof as well, right? Because AI might take out AI might like be able to give a lot of like sales guys a run for their money, but when it comes to like buying a high ticket product, I don't think it'll ever get to the point where AI can fully take over that, because people will always be wanting to speak to people when you're buying a high ticket offer, right, or high ticket product. If you're buying like a car for 10 grand, do you want AI to assist you, or do you want a human being to assist you? You want a human being, because it's just, you want that human connection, okay? So this one, I'm going to put that in A tier as well. The reason why I'm not going to put it in S tier is because the barrier to entry is quite high for this, because you have to know how to sell, right? And to make really good money to start with, if you want to get on a high ticket offer straight away, you have to have good sales skills and you have to have experience. But to get on an offer where you're selling like a 2 grand offer or a 2 grand product, right? A lot of the time, if you've got like sales experience, if you've done a sales role in the past, you can get into this and start making better money than your job doing this, right? And it really is as easy as hopping on Zoom calls and selling this product over the phone with your sales skills. Now, the reason why this isn't an S tier is because it's not really that beginner friendly in terms of like, if you want to make really good money straight away, but it is absolutely doable, okay? Like, I've got friends that do really well with it, but you have to understand, like, you have to have that base level sales skills to start with, because you can't just then hop on some random 10K product offer and say, yeah, I'm going to sell it for you over the phone with no leverage or no sales skills in the past that you've actually refined, okay? So that one's good, but I'm going to put that in A tier. Coaching consulting, let's do that one. Honestly, I'm going to put that one I'm going to do that as S tier, right? Because a lot of you guys, I'm certain, right, even if you think you don't, you have some skill, or you've learned how to do something that people would pay you to teach them how to do as well, okay? So you may have got, like, let's say for example, you went for a really hard breakup, and you got through it, and now your life is really good, and you had your own way of doing that. People would pay you to teach them how you did that. There's people right now that are going through a really hard breakup that would pay you for your knowledge about how to get over this breakup effectively, right? So that is a skill. That is something you can coach and consult people on. Something as small as how to get over a breakup, how to quit alcohol, how to start the gym, how to get a 6-pack. For example, fitness coaches, that's coaching, right? I'm trying to think of another example. I don't know how to. I'm trying to think. Anything that you've got, like how to get over a breakup, how to start a business if you've done that before, how to golf, how to start a YouTube channel, like any little thing that beginners are interested in learning that you know more than them on, you can start coaching, right? And it really can be as something as how to get over a breakup. Like it could be something small in your life like that. People will, you'd be surprised what people will pay you for, and you'd be surprised what skills you have that can teach people. I know someone that, or I have a client that works with someone who has a coaching program teaching old ladies how to knit. And I think she makes like 5 figures a month, right? Like 10 to 20K a month. How ridiculous is that? Like, not ridiculous, but how ridiculously like incredible is that she can make money? It's teaching people how to knit online. Something as small as I know how to knit. Let me teach other people online how to knit, and now I'll make 6 figures a year. It's something as small as that. A little skill that you have, you can teach people and start making 6 figures a year from it, okay? And again, with this, coaching consulting doesn't really cost any money at all to start because you already have the skill. You just articulate your words in a way into like a coaching program that can teach people how to do it, okay? Now, the only thing here is if you really have no skills, like the only barrier to entry is learning the skill. But the thing is, with coaching consulting, you don't need to, like a lot of people think that you need to be a 10 out of 10 in that realm to coach it and consult people on it and be paid for it. You don't. You just need to be at like a 2, 3, 4 out, like I'm probably not a 2, like 3, 4, 5 out of 10, right? A lot more than what a beginner knows. And a beginner will teach you, will pay you to teach them how to get to your level. Because a lot of the time, for example, if you were learning how to golf, like you're probably not going to be able to afford Tiger Woods coaching, right? If he was to coach you, like he's like a 10 out of 10 in terms of golf, right? So you're not going to be able to pay him to teach you, but you would be able to pay a 5 out of 10 or a 4 out of 10, and you still learn a lot because you're a complete beginner and they're not, right? So people would pay you for that. So there's a lot of skills that you probably have right now that could teach, that you could teach and get paid handsomely for. So that one is S tier because that's very beginner friendly. I can guarantee you there are skills you have right now that you could absolutely coach people on and you would get paid handsomely for it, okay? Now the next one, S tier, is appointment setter, okay? So appointment setter is incredible, and I am biased because this is the model that changed my life. Appointment setting is basically lower level sales rep, okay? And what I mean by that is it's a little bit lower down, you get paid a little bit less, and it's just much easier to get into. Appointment setting has absolutely changed my goddamn life, right? This is what has made me 6 figures online. This, honestly, I was working in a retail job, and this is what got me out of that retail job, from my phone, right? And this really is as simple as, like, for example, with these guys, they need appointments on their calendar to sell a 10 grand program. So the guy is going to be so there's going to be a guy taking the call, selling the 10 grand program, but they need someone to actually get the calls on their calendar. So the way they can do that, they can do it through YouTube content. They can get they can have like a book a call link in the description and get like appointments that way. They can run ads, and then obviously people that see the ad can book a call that way. But they're always going to, there's never going to be a shortage of people wanting more appointments for their business because more appointments equals more money. So as an appointment setter, we'll go out and find leads and find people that would be interested in the program and book them into an appointment, and we get paid every single appointment that we book, right? Now, the way that I started doing this, I got on a Instagram account that had like 20 or 30,000 followers, right? Now, they have people coming to the Instagram account and asking questions about the program every single day, but the owner of that business is too busy to speak to those people themselves, right? So the fact that they're too busy to speak to the people that are asking these questions, they're missing out on money because they're not booking them into calls, right? And because they're not booking them into calls, they're not making any money. So they need someone to take this off their hand, because if they don't, they're missing out on like 6 or 7 figures. So what we'll do is we'll go log into their Instagram account and speak to their audience on their behalf that are already engaging in a conversation with us by themselves. They're contacting us first, right? So all we need to do is establish if they'd be a good fit for the program, if they've got the finances, and if they do, we just book them into a sales call, okay? It really is as simple as like, we're on an offer where 20,000 potential leads. We're going to say, look, you've got this problem, clearly, because you're following our content. We can solve it. Are you free to book it in the chat? Yes, I am. Okay, cool. Booked in, paid. We get paid, for example, the going rate at the moment is like $50 per appointment, right? Now, if you're on an Instagram account that has 20,000 followers and you book 100 appointments a month, that's 5K a month, right? That's exactly what I did. It's really not rocket science. It really is as simple as just like logging into their Instagram and responding to DMs. You're already doing that in your day-to-day life with your friends. It's responding to DMs. It's texting back and forth. You've got this problem. We can solve it. Do you want to book in a call? Yes, I do. Cool. Booked in, paid. It's that simple, and that's what made me my first ever 6 figures online, and that's what I recommend to get into, okay? So coaching consulting is good, But again, you have to go and find something that's, you have to find a skill that you have that you could sell, and then build the thing to sell, and then so that's a little bit complex, but like it's still very good. But appointment setting, what I did, like you can start like right now, okay? Because these guys aren't looking for people with loads of experience. They're looking for people that actually that are coachable, right? That are persistent, disciplined, and coachable, right? Because that's all they need. You don't need to be an elite level salesman to get someone to book an appointment. It really is as simple as, you've got this problem, we can solve it. Are you free for just having a quick chat and we could just see how we could help? Oh, yes, I am. Okay, cool, booked in. I promise you, it's basic level sales skills, and you can do it as someone that doesn't have like any kind of experience in sales before at all. And I did it myself. I had no experience. I was a complete crippling introvert, complete beginner, nothing, like no leverage at all. And I still got hired. I still managed to quit my job with it and make 6 figures from my phone with appointment setting, okay? So that is the entire tier list breakdown of the models that I recommend to get into. So D tier, avoid like the plague. To be honest, I'd say from B tier down, I'd say avoid like the plague, right? A tier, you can get into it, but just remember, like the barrier to entry is kind of like, it's kind of quite high. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna change these two around. No, there we go. Yeah, I'll change those two around, right? Because that one is a lot easier to actually start getting paid for, right? Because with coaching consulting, you have to find something, build like a coaching program, and then find people for it. So let's change those two around. So appointment setting and copywriting are both very good. But I personally recommend like appointment setting. You'll make a lot more money straight away, okay? Because it really is simple. It really is as simple as like logging into an account where the leads are already there for you to speak to, and you book them in. You get paid 50 per appointment. Like you can make 5K a month really easily. And then sometimes they even pay you commission on those appointments as well. So for example, if the sales rep takes the call and closes it for 10 grand, you've already been paid 50 for the appointment, but you may get 5% commission on the actual like cash collected price as well. So you could make like, for example, 5% of 10K is £500, right? So that's an extra 500 quid for every sale you get on top of the 50 that you've gotten from booking the call. So this, honestly, this is how I made my first 6 figures. I still do it to this day, and it's incredible. I'd recommend to get into this one mainly. Okay, and again, I'm biased, but that's the one that I personally use. So if you want to learn how to get into appointment setting, right, and you want to learn how to quit your job ASAP and make 6 figures from your phone exact way that I did, okay, because again, this is how I did it, and you want to live that lifestyle freedom, location freedom, financial freedom, all of this stuff, right, properly, as a complete beginner, right, if you want to learn exactly how to get into this, there's going to be a link down below in the description that's going to run you through how I can help you do it, okay? Because again, I've done this myself. I've been in this space for about 2 years. I've made 6 figures with this, and it's changed my life, and it's allowed me to live exactly the life that I want to, okay? So if you want to learn how to do the exact same thing, there's going to be a link down below in the description running you through how I can help. Okay, so click that link, and if you don't want to be sold to, then don't click it, because it is designed to sell you something, full transparency. But if you're serious and you want to kind of get into this and learn how I can help you do the exact same thing, click the link down below, book a call with me, and I'll run you through how to do it.